Thanks for staying. 24,000 birds have been culled in a latest bird flu outbreak recorded in 2 farms in Tema. Acting Director of Public Health at the Veterinary Services Department, Dr. Bio Kikimoto, tells Joy News the service is doing everything to ensure that the outbreak does not spread to other districts.
We have reported to the World Animal Health Organization of the presence of bird flu in Ghana, but the focal points of outbreaks are the various farms. We so far have actually increased in number, and we are fighting them. So that is why you are hearing about this latest one in Tema. It's just one of the focal points of the outbreak. The districts where it has happened, the district veterinary officers, the regional, the epidemiologists on the field, the public health in the field are containing the situation. So it's just like how we started all over since April. It's only that it's just a focal point of one of the outbreak sites. Yeah.
Dr. Kikimoto indicated veterinary officials have been sent to the farms to destroy the affected birds.
The latest case in Tema, what do you know about containing them? I mean, have they been culled? What exactly has been done to them?
Oh, so far as I'm aware, as of yesterday, we had an emergency meeting on it. I think so far the people on the ground, I think they're just carrying out the destruction as I'm speaking to you now. Okay. Yeah, and containment. Okay. That's what they are doing now. Okay. Yeah.
There has also been issues about compensating farmers who lose their birds to bird flu, because the service has to move in and destroy all the birds. How far with this compensation?
In fact, yesterday we had a meeting with the FAO representatives in Ghana, and they praised this government that is the only government throughout the whole world which has been able to pay compensation to its farmers. And they were very happy. World Bank, FAO, and then all international bodies have been praising this government for having taken this bold step. And that is why even the latest farms that we are getting the people themselves are telling us they are owning up as early as possible, because we will not be everywhere at every particular time. So I think it's a very good plus to the government of Ghana.
So everybody has been compensated as far as distractions of birds are concerned over the period? Okay,
to a certain level. These new ones is still ongoing, so you know that by they are not being compensated, but they will be done.
In a related development, an association of live birds farmers has been formed to sensitize poultry sellers and farmers on dealing with the outbreak.
We are in the live birds market, and we know exactly if this bird is with bird flu. We know, so we'll tell you the bird is not good. Likewise, we'll have the veterinary officers to also to boost their work a little bit, because they alone cannot go around to the farms. We go, there's no any farm in Ghana here that we don't know, not even to talk of backyard farms. We know all of them. And the farmers, they are our friends. So whenever they have any problem, we communicate with them.
Well, back to Dr. Kikimoto, and he's advising the public to be extra careful when buying live birds from the market.
And I will advise Ghanaians that so far as eating chicken during Christmas is concerned, they should not be worried. Veterinary Services, Minister of Food and Agriculture, the ministers, they are all concerned, and everything is under control. We will make sure that no Ghanaian gets contracts this disease from the birds.
And you're watching Joy News today on your multi-TV. Now, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEWU, has given the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission an end-of-year ultimatum to bridge the gap between salaries of junior and senior staff of the public universities. Speaking at a press conference, General Secretary of TEWU, Raphael Apaye, said the group will not accept any further delay.
As at today, brothers and sisters, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has failed to do what we have all agreed to do. We think Fair Wages and Salaries Commission have acted in bad faith. The union and the public universities management have carried out every instruction and demand by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, but they, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, have failed to do their parts. We therefore wish to state today that Fair Wages and Salaries Commission have not been fair with us as far as our grievances are concerned. We are a law-abiding union, and we have followed due processes for the past 3 to 4 years, yet we are not seeing results. We as a union shall not accept any further delay in resolving our concerns, which may lead us into 2016. We pray that Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the public universities management will work in good faith in resolving these concerns to avoid any labor unrest within the public universities. We want to draw the attention of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the Vice Chancellors of Ghana, and all stakeholders that if by the end of December 2015, our concerns are not addressed, every blame should be placed at the doorsteps of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the Public Universities Management.
You will recall yesterday a first-year student of the All Nations University allegedly fell to his death from the 3rd floor of a hostel. School authorities met with the family of the victim. Now, Public Relations Officer of the All Nations University, Owusu Achamfo, joins us on the telephone with details. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for joining us. What can you tell us regarding this meeting between the family of the deceased and the university's authorities?
Can you speak up a little bit for me? I can't hear you.
Very well. I'm asking about the meeting between the school authorities and the family of the deceased. What can you tell us?
Thank you for your listeners. For now, we have met with the deceased parents, with the entire management and the police. Now, we went to the police, we went to the scene as well. But as we speak now, we don't know the cause of death. We are waiting for the police report to come before we can establish the cause of it. So the parents have been very supportive to the police and the management as well. So we are still waiting for the autopsy report to come before we can say anything.
Very well, but what conversation have you had with the family while you're waiting for the autopsy report and also information from the police? What has the conversation been like?
With who, please?
Between the school authorities and the family. Is the family demanding anything?
We had a meeting with the parents and we have been very supportive. They said they would desist from the media rumor. For now, they will not speak until the report is ready because they don't have anything to say, whether to talk about the cause of it. So they are waiting for the police to come before they can come to the media. They are still waiting for the police to come with the autopsy report first.
Okay, thank you very much for your time on the news. That's a Public Relations Officer of the All Nations University, Mr. Achamfo. To other stories, and police in Tamale have arrested one suspect believed to be the ringleader of last night's riots. The suspect, who was identified as Suleiman Kindia, was arrested this morning and arraigned. Correspondent Hashmin Mohammed has more.
This suspect, by name Suleiman Akindia, according to the police, was arrested in the early hours of this morning at his house, and he has been put before court. Police have preferred charges of rioting and an unlawful damage to him. Right now, so we are at the Tamale Circuit Court, and his case will be called any moment from now. Yesterday, a group who are believed to be members of the ruling NDC took to the street in protest over what they said was unfair dismissal of one of the candidates who contested as the incumbent member of parliament for Tamale Central, Alhaji Ibrahim. And this candidate, by name Alhaji Ibrahim, also works at the Ministry of Roads and Highway, and they believe that his dismissal was masterminded by the incumbent member of parliament for the Tamale Central.
Paramount Chief of Kliko Traditional Area has asked government to put on hold all activities in the salt mining sector in the K2 South municipality until the issues between the residents and mining company are properly resolved. Last week, some residents clashed with the salt mining company over concessions. Our correspondent Ivy Setoji joins us on the telephone with details. Ivy, so what's the situation in the K2 South municipality between the residents and this company? What's happening now?
Well, the situation is calm now. What the residents are saying is they want their land back or a portion of the land so that they can continue with their work. According to them, this is the only source of income that they've been involved in for years that has been able to take care of their families. And so when it happens like this, they are thrown out, they can't do anything else. A portion of these people, some residents, we have several communities, and other communities. Some of them are also fish people, but Sejakope people, they don't fish that much, so they depend on the salt mining for a living. So
Very well. Very well, Ivy. We understand that the Regional Security Council met with the chief of the area. Do you have any information on that?
Yes, they didn't met with the people. The research met with the people of the area, and then that's the paramount chief for the area to discuss the way forward, and everything went on. But the paramount chief, Kobi Ado, was suggested that government should be able to see or put on hold all activities in the mining sector in the K2 South until these issues are resolved properly. Until then, nothing should be done on the land. So that was his suggestion. But according to the regional minister, Helen Ntoso, she is saying that the research, the Regional Security Council will do everything in its power to protect the company because they are investors, and Ghana needs more investors to work with. So they are trying, they are doing everything to protect them. And now the residents are also saying that they want their land back, or at least a half of the land, so that they can also continue with their work.
Just before we go, tell us, have you heard anything from this mining company with which the residents have this issue?
Yes, according to the mining company, the CEO, Adams, he said that they have given this resident 300 acres, or a portion, that's a portion of the land, so that they can also do their work. But they are saying that it is not enough for them. But they are pleading with them to exercise patience, and that they have also employed some of the residents, the youth in the town, and they have also trained them, sent some of them to Nigeria to be trained on the job so that they can come back and be useful to the society. And so they are not taking all the land from them. They bought it from the government, and they are supposed to be there for a number of years and then go back. So what they are doing is help the community. So they are asking the residents to exercise some patience for them and then solve this issue amicably.
All right, thank you very much. That's our reporter Ivy Setoji from the Volta region. You're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Kakra-Fossen. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more stories. Welcome back. Thanks for staying. Now, the Member of Parliament for Adansia Sokwa and former Deputy Energy Minister K.T. Hammond says the report by the Judgment Debt Commissioner was riddled with errors. Now, the Judgment Debts Commission was set up in 2012 to investigate judgment debts payments and also other causes of financial loss to the state. K.T. Hammond, who was implicated in the Judgment Debts report over the sale of the drill ship, claims the Commissioner did not question Mr. Chachu Chiketa, who is also former head of the GNPC, on the matter because of personal relations with him. He was speaking on Joy FM's Super Morning Show.
Single bit of the errors, the patent errors that are on the face of the report. Do you know what I've just found out? Apparently, in 2008, the commissioner, Mr. Yazapo, in open court, said that Mr. Tikata was not only his brother, he was his mentor, he was his everything, and so he would not sit in judgment over him. I'm just wondering, why would he then sit in judgment in the case of the directorship, when the matter came before the commission? Why would he want to? Because see, the whole exercise, as far as I was concerned, was to find out what exactly happened. If you read the transcript, you will see that Mr. Tikata would have been mentioned tangentially by way of introducing the fact that he was present. Nothing at all is said about him. And my view has always been that, I mean, everything that has resulted in this was because of Mr. Tikata. Suddenly, we come to deal with this, and he is not mentioned anywhere. And then we come to see that Mr. Justice Apeu actually says that he is his brother, he is his mentor, sitting in judgment on him will be like sitting in judgment with over his own brother. And so in a previous case, he had decided not to sit. I'm beginning to wonder whether this whole report is not actuated by bias. I'm thinking about going to court on that.
Mr. Hammond also stated that Chachu Chika's assertion that he sold off an asset of the country is not true. He explained that the drill ship was a liability that was bound to be sold anyway.
It's not a matter with the NDC. I mean, my own leader in Parliament, Honorable Babin, got involved with it. A few others have gotten involved with it. And it's really not a matter between Abiketi Hammond and the NDC or MPP NDC. It's a straight matter of a relationship that was established by GMPC through Mr. Tikata with the Solicitor General, resulted in the sale of this when the ship had already been collateralized. The ship, you were told by Mr. Tikata, was an asset. It was not an asset because it had been arrested. I can show you the document. They are here. Because of the collateralization to the security with the Solicitor General, it has been arrested on authority of a court in Amman. It was not in the hands of GMPC. Why does he say that that was an asset? Kojo, the last point I think he makes is the status of GMPC. I mean, I've gone on and on and on and told the whole world what a mess GMPC was in. Mr. Skata makes the point that, well, you actually asked me yesterday, was it liquid, was it whatever, and it went on and on and on. He talked about only two items. He talked about the ship, but I've just demonstrated that the ship was not in the hands of GMPC. Number two, the ship had to be sold to defray his indebtedness, so it was not an asset to GMPC. Number two,
well, it hadn't yet been sold, and
he was selling it. I've just shown you. Yes, I've just shown you the document.
But once it was sold, yes, those funds went to defray their liabilities. So is it not an asset?
But that wasn't the end of the liabilities that the GMPC had.
Yes, but does that not mean that the ship was indeed an asset? Otherwise, how could you have sold it to defray the cost?
If we look at it so simplistically, I'm tempted to accept that. But I'm saying that as it was located at Muscat, it wasn't, seriously speaking, an asset to GMPC because it was bound to be sold. It was at the verge of being sold. He had put it on market himself.
Adansia Sokwa MP KT Hammond speaking to Kojo Yankson on Joy FM Super Morning Show. The Kolebu Senior Staff Association has passed the vote of no confidence in Chief Executive Officer Dr. Gilbert Buckle and is asking the CEO to resign. The association says Dr. Buckle has performed below expectations since he took over as head of the hospital. President of the Senior Staff Association, Charles Ofe Palm, has been speaking to Derek Eccleston.
Things are not going well in Kolebu from so many points of view. Shortages all over the place. But the irony and the strategy is that we just increase charges fee for almost 300%. And you ask yourself, where is the money going to? Why are we not still be able to provide supplies? Why are we not being able to provide reagents for the lab? So that people will come and access that conditions, that service or pharmacy, or the other equipment are broken down. Things are running out of funds, and it's better we save the boats from sinking.
So what you're saying is that your stores have run out of stock. So how do you operate?
Oh, sometimes they don't have, you don't do, or you improvise. some of the things I don't want to say on air because I don't want to pay the confidence of any clients or patient that comes to Kolibu. It's sad. If you work here and you come here and there's no medicine at 12 midnight and there's no pharmacy that's open at night, how do you survive? I mean, how many people might have died for that? I don't want to scare people. But if you come and the doctors need to do a lab and there's no reagents at 12 midnight, which private lab is working? It's sad. We see what we've noticed is that we had a change. And some of the things we said in the change, they are being repeated. So the question you ask yourself is that what is going on?
I think that the CEO is running the facility down and is incurring some debt that the government must pay later on. And I also know that you have passed the vote of no confidence in him. What exactly does it mean?
The vote of confidence means that to send a strong signal to the chief executive that he's not performing. He's a non-performer. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the senior association, senior staff association, COSA is saying that resign because you cannot do the job or you are not doing the job.
What happens if he does not heed to your call for him to resign?
Well, I don't think it's his interest to say that because first of all, I want to state clearly that you cannot rule on people who say they don't like you. Not because we don't like him, because we don't like him, but we try to establish why we don't like him. Now, if the board has a performance review, they should go and check. We are challenging them. On what grounds do you measure even the person? Apart from that, some of the things that we see is still continuing.
How many days, weeks or months are you giving the CEO to resign?
We are not giving any ultimatum. We have said that we've met now, and this is what we are telling him that this is the signal we have given to him. You know, it's up to him. If he says, well, me you may go, then we will see from there. If we had to wait to this time, I must be honest that we have taken a lot of time.
Meanwhile, management of the hospital has declined comment for now.
On Wednesday, the Senior Staff Association here at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital held a meeting, and their mission was just one. They had a vote of no confidence against the current CEO, Dr. Gilbert Buckle. They had a myriad of issues against him, including payment of some judgment debts to some persons who were wrongfully dismissed here at the hospital. They complained about depleting stock in some of the units. They also said that he's mismanaged a lot of funds here. They also talk about promises that he made to them that he has not fulfilled, including Medicare for all the staff. Flashback. This is not the first time the senior staff have complained about the CEO of this hospital. Reverend Dr. Albert Boche, as well as Mr. Edward Anna, were not in the good books of these senior staff. What has the hospital got to say about this? We have tried several times to speak to Dr. Gilbert Buckle, but has not been successful. Let's move on to the PRO, Mustafa Salifu, and find out what response he has for the Senior Staff Association.
We heard about the press conference held by the Senior Staff Association. But for now, what we are saying is that we will not be commenting on the issues. If and when we decide to comment on the issues, we will invite the media to come over and then hear our side of the story.
Even though you don't want to comment, did you know about the issues before the press conference?
No comment, Hannah.
So Hannah Odame filed that report from the hospital. Today, December 10, is Human Rights Day. This year's Human Rights Day is devoted to the launch of a year-long campaign for the 50th anniversary of the two international covenants on human rights. But even as the world marks this day, African leaders are being called upon to do more in protecting the rights of citizens. Speaking earlier on the AM show, Country Director of Amnesty International, Lawrence Amesu, said African governments need to step up their efforts in protecting the rights of citizens, especially women.
Authorities, the government, has the responsibility to promote, protect, and then fulfill the rights of people. If people, citizens of a country, are not seeing that their rights are being protected, promoted, or fulfilled, then we are losing the battle. Nigeria, in particular, we still battling with the Boko Haram issue, which has still not been solved. For Amnesty International, until every one individual in the world is enjoying his or her human rights, we think that we are missing. Coming back to Ghana, Ghana generally is considered as doing better than most of the countries that we have in the sub-region. However, we still have issues which border around violence against women. And this is a major issue that we still have. Some of our cultural and traditional practices have made good room for us to continue to violate the rights of women. For example, the widowhood rights, where let me just make an example of the one that we have in the northern part of the country, where when a man dies, it's automatically thought that is the woman who is responsible for the death of the man, but it is never the other way around.
The National Executive Committee of the opposition New Patriotic Party will later today decide on the fate of its General Secretary Kwabena Ejepong and the first Vice Chair Sami Krab. This was after the party's disciplinary committee recommended the suspension of the two for misconduct. Malik Dabu of our political desk chronicles events so far.
The party went for elections last year, 2014, at a conference in Tamale. In that conference, Mr. Paul Afoko was elected chairman, Kwabena Ejepong was elected general secretary, various other persons were elected. Now, when they returned to Accra, one of the first actions that were taken by the executive, led by, and you know, if you look at the structure of all of these national executive committees of all of these parties, normally the party is led by the chairman and the secretariat is run by the general secretary. So those two people tend to be very pivotal in the running of the party. It is unclear at this point whether they will resort to that, but if these disagreements continue, I would imagine that the party would decide to use Article 10 to remove any persons they think are stumbling blocks to the party's campaign. If a party goes to Congress, an emergency Congress as it is planning for Sunyani on the 19th, it may actually decide that, look, we are removing these people and Congress is adopting people. Congress may actually decide that it is appointing somebody as chairman. Congress can take that decision. Remember that Congress is the highest decision-making body of the party. Yeah. That Congress can decide that, look, we have removed Paul Afoko, we are putting somebody there as national chairman, let Freddie Blay remain his first vice chairman. Congress can decide that. Congress can equally decide that we have removed Paul Afoko, we are making Freddie Blay substantive chairman, we are appointing somebody else as first vice chairman and second vice chairman and the rest of it.
Right. You're watching Joy News today on your Multi TV. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you business. Time for business, and Huawei Technologies Ghana has handed over a newly refurbished children's library and exhibition hall to the Accra Main Library Authority to complete the second phase of renovation on the library. The renovation works, which cost 500,000 cedis, is expected to make learning easier for children who visit the library.
The renovation works follows news stories on the poor state of the country's main library, after which Huawei decided to come to the aid of the Ghana Library Authority and signed a memorandum of understanding to refurbish the library.
Some big plan. This year we cooperate with Vodafone for this library, as I promised to the managing director of the main library. Next year we will be here again. This is the phase 2. We'll continue the phase 3. And we also will continue the ICT lab with the UCC and the Winnipeg University. And we also will donate more the CIC, the Community Information Center. And this year we have already donated 2 to the society. And next year we donate maybe 2 more to improve the ICT level in the rural area.
Deputy Minister of Communications Sato Sapo lauded the efforts of Huawei and assured government's continuous commitment to support the telecommunications sector.
Because you go to a certain part of Accra, a certain part of this country, and realize that in this particular enclave, in almost every home, the child in that home not only has access to all the books that he requires or wants to buy, but even has access to his or her own personal laptop. and can research information and do a lot of things that people in other parts of the country are denied of. That is what, in my opinion, I call a wealth gap. Sometimes I call it a status gap. Sometimes it's a social gap. And it exists. And we owe it a responsibility to ensure that that gap is closed.
The third phase of the project will provide a complete IT department for the library. Meanwhile, Vodafone Ghana has supported the Huawei project with 20 computers for the children's library.
Inflation for the month of November has gone up to 17.6% from 17.4% in October. Deputy Government Statistician Dr. Ba Wadie has been explaining the main drivers for the 0.2% increase.
Of inflation has two main components. We have the food inflation and the non-food inflation. For the food inflation, the rate for November 2015 was 7.9%, as compared with 7.8% that was recorded in October 2015. The non-food inflation rate for November 2015 was 23.2%, as compared with 23.0% recorded in October 2015. And is the price changes in these commodities we have mentioned, which are mainly non-food items, that are driving the inflation rate in the country. And specifically, we've been able to identify education and the others that I have mentioned. These are the main price drivers for the inflation rate that we have observed. Realize that this inched up, or these had rates which were up, and that affected the overall average for the non-food group, which also inched up by 0.2%. And this accounted for the average increase in inflation in the country that we are reporting.
Yeah, but the era where management and boards of state-owned enterprises hide or hid behind political interference to put out or hid behind politics to put out weak performance is over. This is according to the Deputy Finance Minister Cassio Ato-Forson, who says it's about time state-owned enterprises collaborated more with relevant ministries. Mr. Ato-Forson was speaking at a stakeholder consultative workshop to review corporate governance framework on state-owned enterprises.
The structure of the single entity, we are not taking it out. Remember that what we are saying is that your very enabling act that establishes the SEC, we need to review it to give you more powers. We've identified issues where, because of the way you are structured, it's difficult for you to regulate the giant, like the VRA, the Ghana Cocoa Board. It's very difficult for you to regulate them because of the way you are established. Your office, as it's structured today, doesn't have what it takes to even check the financials of some of the things that they are doing. And that is why we feel that there's the need for us to work with you on a single entity so that you can still go on with your monitoring. We want to only ensure that the investment that they are taking will not become a contingent liability tomorrow for the taxpayer to pay for it tomorrow. That is what we are talking about. Because for your information, some of this debt that we are talking about, the state owns X amount. You look at the DSA, and you see huge amount of debt as if it's the state that is owing. A good number of it is coming from the SOEs. Their SOEs debt, but they are sitting in the books as Government of Ghana debt, though you are servicing it. Because the World Bank will tell you they will not take it out until you improve your governance.
That's it for business. Sports with Benedict Owusu is next. Time for sports now, and we know that Chelsea had some good luck last night. Yes, Benedict Owusu is in the studio.
Did your team qualify?
Which one is my team?
I'm
well, I was supporting Chelsea at that time, and yes,
but
good for them.
So you don't have any team you support in Europe?
No, I just watch football to enjoy, you know, the sports.
Serious?
Yeah.
In this day that you get ladies always talking about, you know, Chelsea, Manchester United.
Talk about it, but
okay, please,
I don't owe any allegiance.
I'm a Liverpool fan, so just
I don't owe any allegiance.
I'm a Liverpool fan. Just come. Okay, we'll accept you.
Let's get on with the sports.
All right, okay, so we'll start with some local news. And an emergency committee member of the Ghana Football Association, that's lawyer Kuku Eya, he's been speaking about the delay of the Ghana Premier League season. You know, up till now, the Football Association, they are yet to announce the official date for the start of the Ghana Premier League. Well, some clubs have had to alter their pre-season plans, with some even asking the players to go home till the FA announce or set a date for the league. Kukwaya tells Joy Sports that the FA, the top hierarchy, that's the FA president, the emergency committee and the executive committee members are also concerned, just as the clubs.
It's a worry to the FA as well. You know, when we talk about the FA, we all form part of the FA. Our registration is tied to that of the Premier League. More so where we have moved from a platform and we are going to FIFA's platform where the league as well as the calendar is supposed to be synchronized. So if you have a situation where the calendar is synchronized in terms of registration, but then unfortunately you don't have a start date, then it's a worry, because you can have a situation where you may finish, end it, and then that's your registration, and then your league has not started. The windows may be closed, and then that is where we are supposed to start. The ideal situation would have been that you have the first window starting in August, and then you have the second window in January. But as we speak now, we are registering, but we don't know when the league will start. So it's a worry to the FA, the executive committee, the emergency committee, as well as the president. So what the FA intends to do is that all the clubs have been invited for a stakeholders meeting. I'm referring to Division 1 and Division and Premier clubs. We've not talked about promotion and demotion because of the constant litigation going on. So what we intend to do is that on Monday we'll all judge and put our house together and decide on the best way forward.
Koya is an emergency committee member of the Football Association. He doubles as an executive committee member as well. Now, Black Stars deputy captain Andre Ayew, Nigerian striker Odion Igalo, Yannick Bolasi from DR Congo, and Aruna Koni from Cote d'Ivoire are on the shortlist for the November African Players Award in the English Premier League. Now, Igalo won the award by overwhelming majority in October. Another old face in the shortlist was August winner, that's Ghana's Swansea City star Andre Ayew. Ivorian Aruna Koni of Everton makes up the quartet of shortlisted players. He has featured prominently in his team's resurgence in November, starting with an emphatic hat-trick in their 6-2 drubbing of Sunderland in the English Premier League. That's it. My name is Benedict Owusu. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, that's all we've got for you on Joy News today, but you can go to myjoyonline.com. Interesting stories there. Man born with 2 extra legs on his back becomes outcast, people calling him the devil. And Katie Hammond says, I have nothing against Chachu Chikata. You heard about that earlier on the program. Lots more stories on myjoyonline.com. Thank you so very much for your company. I'm Francisca Kakra Forson. Bye-bye.